Coming to you from their living rooms, it's the Day After Show with Danielle Staub and Yvette.
I just can't help myself. Pay attention, please. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Day After Show with yours truly, Danielle Staub and
Yvette. Hey guys, thanks for joining us.
We've had some roller coaster rides this week, Yvette, let me tell you. Not just in the episode, I'm going to tell you right now, my life in general has just been one big roller coaster. For those of you who don't know, my phone's crashed yesterday, and that's why I didn't make it to my live, but I went on live once I got my Instagram connected back, and I hope you'll all accept my apology, but we're back here, Yvette. We're ready to talk about this. Yvette's been paying attention, and
That's
I didn't.
Right.
Please.
We overcome here, you know, we make it work. We do what we got to do.
We must, as everyone must. So where we left off with the Day After Show last week, I think we left Margaret in the hot seat. Let's see who ends up there today. Now, this is a lot of pressure on Yvette. He had to watch this messy, messy show and fill me in. And believe me, I'm looking forward to doing this next week on my own. But let's see how your perception of all of this was. Where did we start?
Absolutely. So the episode opens up, you know, right back to Jennifer. She's cleaning up her house, and she basically is talking about how she got home from the pool party and threw up everywhere. And she's saying how the only reason that she got so drunk is because she's not used to drinking, and she doesn't really know her limit. So, you know, first of all, I'd like to know your opinion on that.
Okay, so well, my experience with Jennifer was that she really does like her tequila, and she knows that a couple shots in, she's like a different person altogether. I've experienced it, her flip on a dime. When we were at Houston's, when she did that whole, you know, scene with bringing that to TV, even though we didn't film it, but she was quite a hot mess that night after a few drinks. And then I got to say, partially, if she's working on this, then God bless her. Pardon me, I need a drink. But
no, yeah, I mean, I agree. I saw the first 2 seasons with her on it, and it always seems like she has her tequila with her. This doesn't seem like something she's a rookie at.
I think it was episode 3 or 4. She wasn't drinking, and then it was the group, the cast gets together for the end of the episode. So I think her husband canceled on her, if I recall. And he had to stay, so she had to go to the pool party alone. And I think that's when she lost it. The rest of the episode was drinking for her. And I think she face planted at the pool party or something. So today, I mean, last night's episode is her waking up with a hangover, basically, and blacking out.
I mean, her husband did end up, the last episode, he ended up carrying her out with all the other guys. He got there kind of like halfway through.
I mean, he showed up for her to be, and I think there was something about it in the pool. She was playing a drinking game, and some guy was getting close by. The pool guy was getting close by, and he said, "Hands off my wife," or something like that. Yeah, so he did carry her, but I mean, I think 3 men ended up carrying her to the car. I feel like no matter what I've done, that washes it all away. When you leave a party, you don't have to leave in your heels, even though it would be nice, ladies.
You should at least leave on your own 2 feet.
Out of a party, a woman of a certain age, childbearing ages and on, ladies, please control your alcohol. And if you have a drinking problem, listen, I put, many of my partners through rehabilitation, and I was there for them during that. I have all the phone numbers you might need. It's no joke. If she has an alcoholic problem, if she's alcohol issues, she might be getting alcohol poisoning. And this is not worth it. The show's not worth it for her to keep poisoning herself this way. She has to drink to do the show. It's time to go.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only solution. I mean, not solution, but explanation. If she's saying she's not very used to drinking, well, apparently every time you're on camera, it seems like this is how you need to film.
She's stepping on herself there with that one. She's proven differently. Like, people can say okay, but we're seeing differently. So
yeah. So next up, we catch up with Dolores and Frank, and we find out, of course, Dolores and Frank, not Dolores and David, Dolores and Frank, and we find out that Dolores is getting, she's been named an ambassador of hope for the work that she's done for breast cancer, and she's receiving this award. So she's planning this dinner party. Do you know about her work in her philanthropic work or philanthropic work?
Dolores has always had, none of the rest of them. I mean, I've always had my full body into philanthropist and being, part of a community and helping out and being that person that's a trailblazer, especially when I didn't have anything on my plate other than, being a beautiful wife and mother.
Why do you think this cause is so important to her?
I'm going to tell you right now, I believe wholeheartedly she's into this, not for the reasons to be on TV, but she really would be doing this in her normal life. So yeah, I'm buying that. The rest of them, no, no, it's just a photo op for them.
Interesting. Well, before we even get to that party, we meet up with Teresa and her girls, and Teresa's making pork chops in the kitchen. So apparently they really want to push that she's a cook. I don't know.
Well, but, they have to come up with something to keep Teresa in the loop of things. She did write a bunch of cookbooks by taking her mother's recipes and having an author write it into a book. But none of those books were written without my name being included, which I'm kind of curious about. But I mean,
are you saying some of those are your recipes too?
I think she was just trying to play on the puttanesca and the puta and all that other stuff. And it's trashy to put in your cookbook. Those are two different things altogether. Take your brand and write your own book. I wrote a memoir and I didn't mention her once. So she's not really a part of my life. She's not relevant to my life. Unfortunately, Lisa is a cook. She can cook, but she never really created her own way and style. It was handed to her by her mother, and she was lucky. She was lucky enough to have that. I wouldn't be scared at all to go toe to toe with her in a kitchen. I wouldn't need to look at any recipes.
Yes, that's exactly what we need, a cook-off. That sounds fun.
Down. You know what? Mine won't have cheese, won't have butter, won't have dairy, won't have gluten, and I will still have the biggest line at my table.
You hear that? You're getting called out, Teresa. You might need to show up in the kitchen soon.
Be a cook. Let's cook, baby.
I love it. Well, so we find out that Joe Giudice has started a sex toy business, and Teresa has invested in it. And she's also planning this celebration of life for her late father.
She should have invested in that, being as she wasn't really doing much on the end of being super, super attentive, according to her and her own husband while they were married. So yeah, let's help them out because
oh my,
4 kids together. I'm just saying, now she's got all this newfound passion for wanting to have, I don't even want to call it any names. It's her way of describing her vagina is calling it a peach, but and eating pineapples. I just say, you know what? You're either a sensual human being or you're not. If you were with your man for all those years and he was going elsewhere, there's something to be said for that. I mean, I was cheated on, but not because I was unattentive, for different reasons. It was his problem, not mine. I never lost anybody. I left them, but I never lost anybody to another woman because I wasn't sexy enough.
Yes. Love that. Love that. So she's planning this a celebration of life for her late father at Dolores's house down the shore. She wants to invite all the ladies, but of course, because of this drama between her and Jackie, she doesn't want to stay in the same house.
Time out. So she's planning a memorial for her father at Dolores's house, which can make sense, kind of. I mean, you wouldn't normally do that, but they're doing a TV show together. So they have to come up with a way to tie it into a storyline.
I guess they're staying there for a couple of days, and one of the days, this is what's going to happen.
It down though. I have to break it down for the viewers because that's what I promised to do on the day after show. What she's really doing is trying to make a scene that will be applicable for TV and still using her parents, even though they're on the other side, in doing so. And in order to have a cast party, she has to have a reason to have a cast party. So she's bringing all these complete strangers to celebrate the passing of her father's anniversary. That is something very private and held very tight, tightly vested by a family. I mean, Dolores, I can understand. They've known each other for longer than Dolores and I have known each other, which is over 25 years. So, but she knows Dolores like family kind of knows Dolores. So I can see that being applicable. But no, the rest of them, I don't know. This is a private thing. It's a private thing.
I agree.
Break it down for everybody on the day after show. I have to say the truth. And the truth is, this is a means to have a storyline. And that's all. So don't shed too many tears for her. She's still making money, monetizing off of her parents, even in their passing.
Oh, that's so sad. Well, so the girls are staying at different houses. You know, Jackie's going to now stay at Melissa's shore house while the other girls stay at Dolores's house with Teresa. But before we even get there, we get to Dolores's party for her award. You know, the house is decorated gorgeous. There's beautiful flowers. Everything kind of has this pink theme. And David's there for like a quick second in his whole biker getup. And then he's right out the door, right before the guests get there.
That's something. There's something there. You know, David's smarter than people are giving him. You know, he's out of there because he doesn't want to be a part of this show. And I think her forcing him to be a part of the show is going to end up being their divide.
That's
yeah. Got it. I think she's going to push him too far.
Do you know whether they're still together now? I think they are, right?
I don't really even look into them. My guess would be that they are. I don't follow any of them on social. I blocked them a long time ago.
That's right. Margaret made a comment in an interview earlier this month talking about how you blocked her, how she's blocked from your social media.
Well, why wouldn't she be? She's stolen everything else from me, so I have to block her so she can't think of a take from me. That bitch she's a thief in the night, that one. Stealing relationships. Let's see all the demise and the mess that she makes of this season of everybody else now that I'm not there for her to muck up.
Well, speaking of Margaret, so they're at this dinner party for Dolores's award. You know, they're all kind of.
You can't tell.
Oh my gosh, no, you look great.
Okay, good. I just don't want to be able to do that. I don't want any comments about that. I'll go change that right now. But go ahead.
People need to get over it. It's 2021. But they're having this dinner party. Everything seems fine. They're drinking. I think Jennifer is having a drink. So we jump to Margaret's confessional. Margaret makes a comment about how she's really concerned about
drinking, right? After regret, back to drinking.
Right. That's what I wasn't clear of. I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure the whole thing came up because she was having a drink. But Margaret says in her confessional how she's concerned about Jennifer's drinking and how it gives her flashbacks about her mom and how she doesn't want Jennifer's kids to experience the same thing she did, which I felt like was a very loaded statement to make.
Wow. So she's gonna do her mom like that, huh? Nice. You know, Margaret.
Poor Marge Sr.
Margaret surprises me every day in the worst of ways. You know, when you think you can't get her to get any lower to the ground, she is now slithering, as far as I'm concerned. You protect your mother. You protect those who raised. That mother made sacrifices for Margaret, you know, that, you know, maybe Margaret doesn't appreciate and it's lost on her. But her mom doesn't need to be treated like that. Her mom's what, well into her 70s, maybe early 80s, headed toward the 80s. That's not fair. It's not nice. It's not fair. And it's ruining a perception for her to maybe possibly find someone to share her life with. So again, Margaret's using other people and now it's her mom. So
that's interesting. That's an interesting take for sure.
Shame on Margaret. I don't believe Margaret's been traumatized by too much in her life. I think that her trauma just comes as convenience for her to do a TV show right now. And she's building it up so she can put it in her book and call it true. Because it aired on TV. Folks, you heard it here first. Because it aired on TV does not necessarily make it true. Consider divorce, consider the source and watch the steam and the smoke blowing out the sides of her ears, and you'll know it's a lie. Boom.
Speaking of things building up, the whole episode, the tension, you can feel it building, and what they're alluding to, basically going down to the shore and meeting up with the rest of the cast. Of course, Jackie and Teresa's first encounter together. So they're in the car. It's Dolores, Jennifer, and Teresa. And Jennifer happens to mention what she heard that happens during boys' night, when Joe Benigno mentioned that he also had heard the rumor. So her husband told her that. So she tells Teresa. They tell her, you know, don't make a scene out of it. And she said she's not. She even brought her a gift. So that kind of sets the tone for the whole situation. And then we get to the party, and of course the girls meet up. And the very first thing Teresa does is she hands out her gifts. And when Jackie opens it up, it's one of Joe Giudice's new toys. And she tells her that she can shove it up her, you know, just like how she suggested for her apology.
A woman of our age, like, really, let's break it down, folks. Okay, Yvette, you know I'm here to break it down. I have to do this.
For sure, yeah, so, go for it.
I would never invite anyone to my home, and I've had a plethora of parties, real parties, not just parties for TV, parties. You yourself have been to my barbecues with 70, 80 to 100 people there. I cook for everybody. I take care of everybody. And never once have you seen me walk up to somebody and start shit with them at one of my parties. Have you?
Absolutely not. You're actually a great host.
You know why? Because if you're a hostess and you are really there to invite people into your home, you should make sure that they're not chased from your home either. So whose house is this at again? Dolores's?
This is Dolores's shore house.
Okay, so this brings back a throwback for me. I'm invited to Dolores's house after the obstacle course, only to be chased from Dolores's house by everyone ganging up on me. And then Dolores herself not even stopping to say, hey, you okay? I had to leave that house because I was being treated so poorly.
I think I did see that episode.
My house and allowed other people to talk to them the way I was spoken to. And I had people over all the time before COVID, that is. And I got to tell you one more thing. I asked her this question. I said, so I fell down outside your house. And she went, are you okay? I go, that's what you should have said to me when I was getting up, crying and shaking and leaving your home. You should have said, are you okay? With that kind of enthusiasm. The only reason you asked if I was okay when I said I fell down is because you're a fake bitch that's worried about a lawsuit. That's why. So
yeah, I mean, it does come off that way when you explain it.
Yep. I got to put things into perspective. I'm breaking it down. She might be a philanthropist, but she doesn't make her a good person to other people. If you're doing a show like this.
Of course, one thing doesn't have to do with the other, for sure.
Sold her life to the devil. They're not just making money, they're ruining lives. When you cross that line to start ruining lives, which they've done to me more than once, and now they're doing to Jackie, and they're going to do to everybody else that's in their line of fire, and the Bravo says point and aim right there, that one's going. Chase her out. See how much she can, before that eating disorder reoccurs, before these things with Jackie that have bothered her her whole life that she had to overcome, like I had to overcome. I didn't have to overcome an eating disorder. I had to overcome many other things that these people regurgitate, and they're doing it. Do you see the similarities now? They're allowing this to be done to yet another person. And these
Absolutely. Well, it's funny that you say it, because Jackie actually, after this whole situation happens, she seems very flustered, and all the girls keep pinpointing at, oh, Jackie, don't start crying about it. Oh, Jackie, don't cry. But she kind of seems fine, but they're playing her out to be this crybaby in like a way.
Well, yeah, they're going to play on anything that gets her to react in a way that makes it look like she's at fault for being crazy about this. Meanwhile, if we're breaking it down and telling the truth, where did all of this come from? Teresa Giudice opened her mouth because she heard a rumor. The rumor was brought to her by her brother. this hasn't unfolded yet. I'm telling you how it's going to unfold. Her brother heard it from Joe Big Mouth Plumber Benigno.
Oh, so this is the further development of the prediction. Okay.
Joe Big Mouth Plumber Benigno heard it from his wife during pillow talk while they were in the confines of their own home, safe enough for Margaret to share it with her husband, not realizing her husband cares more about what Joe Gorga thinks about him. So he shared it because he had to conversation. He had to get his 2 cents in, and he had to be relevant in all of these scenes. The buildup is going to come, and when it's done, you're going to see it's going to play out the way I predicted from the very first episode. And that is Margaret Joseph is guilty for the whole thing.
Well, so then Teresa calls out Joe Benigno at this little dinner that they're having. And she basically says, you know, I heard that the boys had spoke about this at boys' night, and that Joe mentioned that he had also heard the rumor. So Margaret, you know, she gets very defensive. She's like, where'd you hear it? Where'd you hear it? She asked Joe Benigno if he had heard it. No one's throwing him under the bus. And then Jennifer steps in and she admits that she had heard it from her husband. Margaret immediately snaps at her and tells her to shut up.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty feisty.
So, no, it's just Margaret getting called out, but she just threw herself under the friggin' bus. Are we not seeing it without the rose-colored glasses? Take off the glasses, folks, and look clearly through the lenses. This is a person that is reacting to something that somebody else is saying, and she wants to know where they heard it. So she's asking the source, where did you hear it? Knowing darn well her own husband isn't going to say, well, from you. But before the smoke completely clears and the dust settles, the end of all of this will be Margaret Joseph holding the smoking gun. Trust me.
We'll see. We'll see. So then, no, I mean, you were right the first time.
She needed to create a storyline in the first episode to be relevant. She needed to make it work. So Jackie, if you're watching any of these, honey, you're in the aim of fire under Margaret Josephs. She's going to play you just like she played me. I would guard my assets, girlfriend, real tight.
Well, you know, speaking of Jackie, you know, again, everybody's calling her this crybaby and she's seeming flustered and maybe a little overwhelmed. So then Teresa, you know, she says, oh, well, I like my friends confident. I like to be around people that are confident. And, you know, Jackie just looks at her and says, did you learn the confidence in jail? And then this sets Teresa off. She freaks out and storms off, and then the episode ends and to be continued. But I guess Jackie shouldn't be messed with. She's very quick.
She's quick and she's smart, and, you know, no love lost still. You know, she would have to apologize for the way that she joined in on the way she treated me, because she's getting a taste of it. Karma is real quick to return to some people, and she's getting some of it. And I have a feeling I'm her only ally right now, to be honest with you, that knows the truth and is unfolding the truth for her. And I hope and pray she doesn't need this show, and she realizes she doesn't. So she walks away from it with her marriage still intact. Margaret will destroy their marriage if she has to. Now, yeah, maybe it'll take a little longer than my weak pussy ex-husband, but Margaret's going after them, because it's the only way that she has relevance in this series. So she whispered in his ear, and now it's all over the place, and it's too late. She's already reactatory to it. And if she's crying, Jackie's crying, my God, what is she supposed to do? This is her marriage. Doesn't anyone have heart anymore? It's inflammatory, and it's wrong. It's abusive. And they're really mean girls for doing this. Any one of them wouldn't handle it any better. And to be honest with you, her saying something to Teresa about learning that in prison, well, she didn't find Jesus in prison. So yeah, she probably did.
I'm dead. So after hearing everything, who would you say you're putting in the hot seat this week?
Well, there's going to be 2 hot seats. It's Margaret and Teresa.
Okay, elaborate.
Teresa for being such a cocky bitch and thinking that she's got this covered no matter what. You're not a queen, honey, and no one's fixing your crown because you're not wearing one. You should take a seat and relax, because this part of your journey is nearly done with this whole Bravo stuff. You're played out, girl. And as for Margaret, your reaction to the rumor being spread and needing to know like where it was heard is the same as you saying, oh my God, it's me. Just admit it. Like, start to be an honest person, man. And stop throwing your mother under the bus. Stop using people. She'll use anybody in her sight. That's the reason she's going to remain in this hot seat until it burns an ass, until it burns right through her ass.
I totally agree.
I don't like her, and I'm not making any pretense to like her, but I didn't like Jackie either, but I feel bad for Jackie. And here's the thing. I know the difference. These are bad women doing things in a bad way. And I hope all of you can understand. This is my opinion, brought to you here on the show and the platform that I've created so I can unpack each and every episode for each and every one of you each week. And I want to make this a lasting thing. So sorry about yesterday, my phone crashing and not being there for the episode, but I got Yvette and I'm all caught up. And I hope all of you enjoyed the unpacking today and every episode to follow. I have a special shout out though, before we end this week's episode and Yvette goes dancing off to his next little gala. Stevie Ricks. It's a young lady that made the artwork that we'll be sharing with our episodes, and very talented and really grateful to her. She has a mother that's been trying to manage new parts of pain and not being well. And I just want to tell Jocelyn, listen, one warrior to another, honey, you've got this. We've got this. You're not alone. And anything that you need, you can always find me right here. The day of and the day after show. I'm here for you. Jocelyn, keep being a warrior. You're a badass bitch, and I know you've got this, okay? Lots of love, Stevie. Thank you so much for all that you're doing for us. Love the art. Keep it coming. It's just fabulous, and so are you. So
thank you so much, Danielle, for doing this. I really love unwrapping these episodes with you and seeing your unfiltered and honest opinion about everything. So I really appreciate it.
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. So thank you so much, Yvette, for making this happen. And the day after show can be viewed on my YouTube channel. And that's the original Danielle Staub. We are working on new titles for that so we can get better links for you. But for now, we're going to be putting this up for Instagram only, to be driving traffic towards the YouTube channel so that all of you can join us on YouTube and view all the episodes there. How cohesive and wonderful. But again, thank you so much for being here with us. And I look forward to more to come.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.